Hey everybody, how's it going? Drew Creal here. This is the third installment of this little heavy metal podcast that I have going on here. It is still yet to be named, so if you have a good idea for a metal podcast name, let me know in the comments below. But on this particular episode, I actually have my own bandmates joining me. We have Carter Bennet and Mustafa Temel from Proselyte. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
It's good to have you guys here. So we actually have a show tomorrow. We're the local openers for the Exit Wounds, Divisive, and what's the other? Waste tour that's happening right now. They're currently in Chicago, and they will be driving down to Nashville probably tonight, and then we'll be playing at the end tomorrow, Nashville's best underground venue. So, but yeah, it's like we're just going to be hanging out, talking about Proselyte, talking about our band. And so thanks for being here. And, what I want to talk about first is how Mustafa got here. You're from South Carolina, and ironically enough, we had two other dudes here last night, Zan Green and Brandon Crumpton from Moru. They are South Carolina boys, and so are these guys. Yeah. Okay. And so for Mustafa to play a show with us, tell us what you have to do.
It's an 8.5 hour drive, nice and crispy. Last night I left at 10. Got here about 5:30 in the morning, and then slept for 6 hours.
Yeah,
something like that, give or take.
I went to work and came back, and he was still asleep.
Yeah, that's brutal, man.
It's pretty brutal.
You are committed to the craft of making metal, and you're willing to drive across this nation to make it happen. So I commend you for that, man. And hopefully at some point we'll get you to move to town. That would be that's my dream.
It's
anyway.
In the works.
So
he's cooking.
Well, let's do this. Talk about Proselyte and how it formed. Talk about how you guys know each other. You can talk about the other bands that you were in previously, and how did we get here today with this band?
I met Mustafa through our drummer right now, James, which is kind of a full circle thing, getting James back into this band, because after that band, he didn't want to drum forever. Anyway, he texted me something like 2015, probably like March or April, and was like, we want another guitar player for our band. And I was back and forth. I was in a committed relationship at the time, and it was like, do I really have time for this, to be a guitar player in a band? Because I was doing like the church thing, but that was about it. And so I went over there, and it was James's mom's house, and they had a little loft, not too dissimilar from this, where we would all just kind of meet up, and I met the whole band, basically just talked and shredded, and then I was in. And from there, we were in Down Under from 2015 to 2018, maybe.
Okay,
something like that.
So this was back in 2015.
Yeah,
with
this
the band
was
Down
right
Under.
out of high school for me. You were probably still in high school.
Yeah, I was a freshman, sophomore when Down Under started in like early 2014.
Yeah. They had already been going for about a year before I joined.
Let's do some origin story stuff. So Mustafa, how did you get into metal and wanting to do like brutal deathcore and metal vocals? Like where did that start? Where did that come from?
MySpace.
What makes someone want to do that?
So for the vocals, it's really just it just segue to segue to segue to segue. So starting out, I met James when I was in second grade, and we were friends. He was friends with my sister, and I was friends with his little brother, Josh. You know Josh?
Yeah.
And from there, Josh and James showed me some stuff like Attack and Job for a Cowboy.
In second grade?
We were young. We were young.
You were listening to Attack
listening to Broken
Second.
Side, Blood on the Dance Floor. I was learning all of this music, right? And I had this when I was super young. I was on MySpace, catfishing,
Oh my gosh,
dude. But anyways, that's where I learned about Black Veil Brides and Asking Alexandria and Chelsea Grin and stuff. I'd say probably about 11 years old, 12 years old. I started doing YouTube covers. Just trying stuff.
Just screaming.
They're still up. I still have them.
Oh, man.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I'll send them to you. They're horrible.
We'll make a clip of
let's
one
see. You
of
can make the clip there.
For sure, dude. Dude, that's amazing. Yeah, I did not expect this.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah, and then probably 6th or 7th grade, I was like, oh, it'd be so funny if I joined the chorus. Just start singing. It'd be so funny. Not funny at all. It was actually super fun. I loved it.
So you were a choir kid?
I was a choir kid
school?
from
6th
grade
man.
all the way to graduation.
I did choir. It makes you a better musician.
Significantly.
Just makes you better at everything.
Yeah, you learn a lot of theory and what works and what doesn't. Even if it sounds right, does it actually work? And even if it works, does it sound good? You know? A lot of stuff like that. I'd say probably 2013, 2014, when me and Jameis started partying all the time and having people over just whenever. We had a friend named Christian, rest in peace. he played in the beginning. Like, we were just doing attack covers of Stick Stickly. We did Billy and 4C by Motionless in White. Just, like, stupid stuff.
You're just, like, jamming at your buddy's house who has a drum kit.
Exactly.
And we're like, let's play Stick Stickly.
Yeah, we had a bass amp that I would plug into, because Josh played bass. So my PA was a bass amp.
Oh, you plug your vocals into a bass amp.
Into a bass amp, yep. And that's how we started, you know, and none of it made sense. And then we met our guitarist, Will, and we had a bunch of guitarists in between then. And then he showed up.
Yeah.
And then it was significantly better since then.
Sick, dude. Well, Carter, talk about your guitar playing, man. Like, when did you pick up guitar, and who were some of your influences, like, early on?
It's funny you ask, because I saw a picture yesterday of me and James at, like, 4. I'll send it to you.
Age 4?
I
like
remember that
4 years
picture.
old. Yeah, me and James and James's mom and my mom were friends before either of them got pregnant with us.
And for anybody wondering who James is, he's our drummer.
Yes, our
and
current
he's
drummer.
Currently working right now. So
Yeah, he's at work. He
couldn't
actually
be here.
wanted to send us up here with a cardboard cutout so we could cut it.
Oh, that would be
I
fun.
couldn't get one in time.
Oh man, that would have
So
been.
we got
That would've been
James
so
here, and it's
funny.
just, it's just a cardboard cutout of him.
That would have been sick. That
That'd
would have been
been
dope.
Should have done that.
But anyway, no, I saw the picture of me and James at like 4. He's a year older than me, so 5 maybe. And he's like hitting this like little fake like Sears symbol, and I've got like a Sears guitar, and I was like, man, full circle right now. No, I didn't get into like serious guitar playing until maybe I was like 9 or 10. And my dad raised me on like Paul Gilbert and Racer X and Judas
that's
Priest
cool.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there was this constant tension between my mom and dad. They're obviously, my mom and dad are together, but they have such vast music tastes that anytime my dad would put something on my iPod that was like Rat or like White Snake or something, my mom would hear it bleeding out of my ears, and she would take it back off. And I have to go back to him.
Oh,
and
so
all
she
that
didn't
kind of
want
stuff.
you listening
She didn't
to
want
that
me listening
stuff.
to, because it's like sexual and stuff like that.
Girls,
Yes, just like that. And so I got in my room, and my first guitar was like an Epiphone SG. I don't know what I ever saw in an SG, but
It's a sick shape.
it's cool
Like-
now. I mean, I worked at Gibson for like 3 years, so I admire it now. But I was playing an SG up until about 12, 13. And then I got all black everything Mockingbird, and it was over after that. It was the Mockingbird and then the Xiphos. And then it was really
yes.
over. The Xiphos was the first guitar I ever bought with my own money. And from there, I was learning Bullet for My Valentine riffs.
You just
and
love the pointy guitars.
Oh,
man.
I love the
Yeah.
points. I love the points.
They're kind of like back in style, like in a big way right now. Like I feel like
Yes.
they like pointy guitars were kind of like, come on, man, like you can't be playing this
Right.
this freaking like War Beast or whatever. And now like they're cool again.
Yeah.
In a way, like they're, if you go on any guitar company website, it's just tons of different options for
They've got
pointy
one.
guitars. Yeah.
What I knew it was back in when I saw I think his name's Devin from Acacia Strain had a pointy Xiphos looking guitar. I was like, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
if you can play a pointy guitar in deathcore, it's back. Because deathcore, it's a pretty tight knit kind of thing. You have to play by the rules in deathcore. It feels like.
Paleface does
So,
the pointy guitar.
oh yeah, they've got like a flying V in like beat down deathcore. So it's
Yeah.
like
Cool.
it's up right now. I love that. Yeah, I love the pointy shapes.
How did you get into playing extended range guitars? Because in Proselyte we play 8 strings, and to be honest with you guys, like there's like less and less 8-string players I feel like today than ever. Like they're just dropping out of the race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I actually like playing a baritone 6-string more.
Yes,
like,
I
you
see
know?
that a lot. I see a lot
Yeah.
of people playing like the 28, 30-inch scale 6 strings, like Sleep Tokens doing that, Loathes doing that. I don't see a lot of like core kids doing that. I'm not too sure. I guess the 8-string was like I wanted those low E's, but I go back and forth because the 7-string has that drop A you can do.
Yeah.
And you can get a 5-string down to drop A. So in my head, I feel like that's as heavy as it gets. But I like playing 8 strings. They feel nice in my hand. Even though a lot of the time I kind of fall back on just chugging away at that bottom E. I remember I saw you talking to Taylor from Dissonation about it. And he's like, oh, if I get that big guitar, I'm just going to chug away at that bottom string.
yeah.
I'm like, that's me. He's preaching right now.
Yeah, every song we use a lot of that low string.
There's
you know?
there's a part in every song where it's just, I mean, you could grab a sip of water with your left hand. It's just chugging.
Yeah,
but-
it's really fun stuff to play live. Like
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed being a part of this band and
thank you. I'm glad you like it.
And playing with you guys. Like, and it's cool that you guys have such a long lore together. I didn't know the three of you guys knew each other for that long.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Even
wow.
when I was out of Down Under and he was in Proselyte, when it just started, we were still hanging out, and I was going over to his house and saying, like, this sounds good, this doesn't sound good.
Yeah, he would like pick apart my vocal parts, because if you listen to the first 3 Proselyte drops ever, it's me doing I'm doing everything. And he would give me kind of pointers like, I think you can go lower, I think you can go higher. You sound like you're destroying yourself right here. Maybe fix that. Because I think... Because
you were doing your own vocals. Because Proselyte was kind of like your thing for a while.
From like 2019 to maybe 2023, it was just me doing... 2021.
You picked me up at the end of 2021 and beginning of 2022.
Okay, there you go.
And you're like, can you do vocals, man?
Yeah, can you please do this for me?
It was literally a phone call of him just like, hey, can you do this? Can
you do this for me? I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to play guitar and sing this kind of music.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing it live.
What was the vision for Proselyte, like, when you started it? Like what was going through your life? Like, what was going on in your life and what was going on in your mind for creating this music?
Oh, dude. Well, Proselyte was like, it was just an outlet, because at the time I had just left the old band Down Under, so I had no way to like write the fun riffs and stuff like that. I had just gone through like a huge breakup, and so a lot of the lyrics are like really like breakup-y lyrics.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was really just an outlet to get that kind of stuff out. There was no intention of making it a band or being in a band, but I had people who knew the songs that I wrote for the old band, and they liked my writing as far as like riffs and stuff like that. So I wanted a way to keep the flow up, because otherwise I was just going to drop music entirely, and I just refused, basically.
You have to keep going, man. And I keep telling myself that I'm about 10 years older than you guys. Yeah. So I've gone through a lot of different phases in my life where I wonder, like, okay, can I still keep playing guitar? I've always taught guitar, but it's different than trying to be in a band and actually work on like an artist career, which is what I'm working on now. Really you know,
yeah, it's so hard.
But I think that's the rule, is just to keep going and keep trying new things and keep pivoting. And like, I was just talking to my wife about this earlier. Like, she was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, like, I just wonder, is what I'm doing right now the right thing to do, and the stuff that I'm investing my time in, making content like this, making YouTube videos and practicing guitar, it has to be at the top of the list for me. And I try to keep it there. Sometimes it's just like, man, like, because it's so competitive and it's so difficult. We're all competing over like very little spots, very few dollars.
Right. Yeah, the same people's attention.
Yeah, so it's tough, man. Did you write all the lyrics on all the songs that we've released so far, or
up until Thousand Tears you did, Void Stares Back you did.
I did Forcing a Smile using a template of what he had.
Okay, it's kind of like then,
we worked together for the most part. In Down Under, it was all me completely. You do your guitars, I'm going to do my vocals.
Yes.
But now, like, I mean, 2 heads are better than 1, and no matter how you look at it, and anything goes through him, and anything he does goes through me. So at the end of the day, we work together on it.
Yeah.
So Void Stares Back was, I think...
That's basically you completely. Yeah. Basically, what I'll do is I'll give him some lyrics just to show him kind of like... I keep using the word cadence, but is cadence the wrong word? Basically, like how I want him to sound as he's moving through the song.
Like your flow, like almost like a rapper.
Exactly, his flow.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a similarity between like rap music and deathcore. There's just like
it really is. We talk about that all the
Yeah.
time. It's like how your vocals are attached to the song, really.
Yeah.
So in terms of lyrics, like, what do you guys like to write lyrics about? Like, what is Void Stares Back about?
So the Void Stares Back is like really just about myself. When you stare into the void and the void stares back, you just see yourself in the black. So
it's almost like a Jungian philosophy, understanding like the depth of your own depravity and understanding like what you're truly capable of in like a kind of a bad way, I guess.
Exactly.
I'm totally butchering that for anybody that's like a real philosophy person, like, but I think I got the gist of it there. But
lots of self-deprecation.
Yeah, it's like some self-actualization that you're a human, and also being terrified at like reality and life as a human.
It's scary, man.
It's very scary.
It's scary, dude. Like I freaking moved to Nashville with just my car, man, and like my guitars. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
And you
four
build a
guitars.
whole life, you know.
Well, yeah. I can't believe like what I have now, and I'm so blessed to have a house to shoot podcasts in and stuff like that.
This is
But
awesome.
Yeah, we love this place, dude. It's sick.
It's great to have. We love having people over, man. We love hanging with people. My wife is a great cook. She loves cooking for people, and so
She's the best.
every guest that's been on the podcast so far has been able to have like a meal made by Courtney.
How
so,
sick is that?
Yeah.
That is
That's
sick.
better
We had
than the
tacos
podcast.
for Taylor. Tacos for Taylor from Destination on the first one, and then last night we had Italian beef for the Moru guys, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
today we're having like Japanese fried chicken and ceviche.
That was really
There
tasty.
you That's what's on the
I'm
menu
excited.
here on the
Sounds good, yeah.
podcast.
Sick,
So,
yeah.
but she loves doing that, man. It's like for her, it's like a huge like stress reliever, and she loves to like just bless other people with the goodness of food. You know,
Yeah,
so
man,
for sure.
That's awesome.
one thing that was really cool that happened to this band and that we all went through together was back in September 2023, we opened for Born of Osiris. It was an awesome show. You guys want to share some memories from that? Like, what was the highlight for you playing that show, opening for Born of Osiris?
I thought it was really strange, but I always think about the amount of people that wanted to take pictures with us and like get stuff signed and all that. Because I have just an insane imposter syndrome issue, and so I was like, these people liked what we did. So they were like pulling us aside. We had like a dedicated little spot back there where people were just lining up to take pictures of us. It was mortifying for me, but I look back at the pictures and we all we had a good time. But it was insane.
The kids were really cool at that show, and I don't know if
That
it,
was so cool.
Everyone
it's-
was super chill.
I think it's just like Murfreesboro kids. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
I
there's
don't
just
know what
more
it was about
families.
it.
There's more younger people down there, I think, than like in the city of Nashville. I mean, there's young people that come.
There's shows here every night, you know, in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen a show go through
Right,
Murfreesboro?
and it's a metal show. It's
rare.
Born of Osiris. Like, yeah, the thing that blew my mind was this. I actually played drums for that show, so that was like this whole like personal journey for me to like I got to prove to myself that I can play double bass drums in a deathcore band. Like it was this whole like freaking.
It was,
it was
weird.
awesome.
We
Yeah,
watched
that was
the
a
videos
good
all
show,
the
yeah.
time. We had like a drum cam, and I'm just like, look at him go! I'm so happy for him.
Look at him go!
Yeah, I feel like a parent with their little kid. Like,
He's
wow,
drumming.
I'm so proud of him. And it's just
I was proud of myself, man.
Yeah,
No,
that was a good show.
I love
show was
drumming,
sick.
and I talked about this in the last episode, but like I just kind of decided more recently that like I enjoy drumming. Maybe I'll pick it up in a more serious way at some point, but right now I just want to be able to play guitar as good as Dean Lamb. That's like basically my life goal. So, all that to say, there was this little kid who was like 11 or something.
Oh, that kid was so cool.
I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah,
with this.
dude. I set up my drum kit, and this little kid was just like standing there staring at the kit. And I have like at that point in time, I had like 1 million cymbals, like way too big of a drum kit for a local band, right? Like stupid. And this kid just kept staring at me, and I was like, dude, you want to play these drums? And like I let the kid like come back behind like the barricade or whatever, like. The doors were open, but there were very few people there at the show at that point. And this little kid proceeds to play metal drums better than me. Like
He did it for a while too,
Yeah.
consistently.
and it was
like,
super loud.
just cruising.
Because it was like in this weird like concrete kind of alleyway area. But like this kid like just destroyed on the drums, and I just like stood back and smiled. I was like, this is unreal. Like
It was insane. I did not see it coming. I thought I was, some bonking. No, that
I
kid
thought it was
shredding.
gonna be like, oh, he's gonna just like kind of figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
and just
classic
hit-
James like.
Oh,
yeah, just kind of hit some things, but like this kid like went off on my drums.
That was insane.
It was playing like he was doing heel toe stuff.
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, dude, stop it! I've been working on heel toe for like a month at that point and was failing. But
I still don't get it, man. James has been talking about heel toe for like 10 years. It just don't connect in my brain.
Right.
Dude,
I'll
it's-
just sing and shut up.
it's really hard. And
yeah.
more recently, I had a conversation with Naveen Koperweiss from Entheos, and he was talking about how like he's moving away from heel toe because he thinks it's lame. Like he's like, so he's already mastered it, and now he's gonna learn a different technique called swivel foot, just to be more of a badass. And I was just like, you're crazy, man. Like, yeah. So Naveen, if you're checking this out, you rule. And
was that at the show at the Dark Matter?
yeah, I think I did talk to him about his drum technique at that show.
I saw them there.
I saw them
at
as
Dark
well.
Matter.
Yeah.
So Naveen and Cheney from Entheos, they go to like every local Nashville show pretty much.
Really?
That's actually super sick of them.
They were like getting married in like a couple days, and then they went to the Dying Fetus show, and I was like, or no, they had gotten married, and then like the next day was the Dying Fetus show, and they were there, and I'm like, I was like, guys, is this the honeymoon?
Right.
And they're like, no, honeymoon.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations to them for sure. But they're like, Cheney goes, no, our honeymoon is tour. I was like,
okay.
Damn, you guys they're committed, man.
us.
Like
Could be us.
to that. So, are you guys getting married?
He's playing footsie with me right now as you're watching this.
That's great. But yeah, what memories do you guys have from that show? Sorry, I hijacked that whole conversation.
That's all you.
Go ahead.
You're in the band too.
So Mustafa, what was the highlight for the Hop Spring show opening
so
for
many people,
for
dude.
Boo?
Oh, dude, it was just how many people were there, and like just cared to listen. So many people were so polite. They came and talked to us, and like I don't talk too much because I shake, but like it was fun. Like it was a very like eye-opening experience for me. Like people do care.
Yeah.
People listen.
Yeah.
and that was awesome.
I was taken aback by like all the people that wanted the photographs. And
They want
for
autographs
us to sign
and
stuff, man.
It was sweet.
It was fun, man.
Never had that in like a decade of doing this, so that was that's awesome.
Yeah, I'd kill to play like Hop Springs in Murfreesboro, just that town again.
Oh yeah,
the venue was cool, and just like like you said, the amount of people that showed up. Born of Osiris, which is metalcore, and deathcore openers. Traders
was
which
there.
is like
Traders,
down tempo deathcore. It's like
Traders rules, by the way.
The fact that place was packed out. Yeah, he's got the Traders on right now for real.
Got the shirt.
Those are the boys, dude. Love them.
Another homie of mine that taught guitar with me at School of Rock several years ago. His name is Luke Fiodino, and he plays in Traders now. But he also plays guitar in Dixon Dallas. Do you know who Dixon Dallas is?
I know. Do you know
I do
this?
not know.
Do you know who Luke is?
No, I don't know. Who Luke
I Am Jake Hill.
Yes.
And the country song.
Oh.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I'm gonna try to get him on the show because I want to hear.
I
want to hear about that experience because that's fascinating to me.
Are they touring the Dixon Dallas music?
They just played like a bunch of like Pride festivals and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's amazing.
I Am Jake Hill. Just I don't know because he's got like 5 different names.
Yeah,
right?
he's got
like,
a lot
You're
of projects.
Pretty.
Wait, Dixon Dallas is Jake Hill?
Yeah, he's I Am Jake Hill.
Yeah, I Am Jake Hill's coming to Charleston in like 2-3 weeks.
Oh, he'll probably do it then. They'll probably play that.
I'll tell
Luke,
you if they
Luke
play
will
any
be
of that
there.
stuff.
Yeah. So
if I run into
Luke,
him,
if
let
you're
him know.
checking this out, we got to get you on the show because I want to hear about your travels.
That's insane.
Carter, tell everybody what music is out right now that they can check out, and maybe talk about the process of like releasing this music as we've done for the last several months.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, I think the last thing that came out was the EP, which has those 3 first songs that I did everything for, and they're all mixed by different people. It's finally out and everything's cohesive, and I'm happy because everything's organized. It's all under one thing now, which is really nice. The last thing we did with Josh, our local mixing engineer, Josh, he played guitar at the September show. The last thing we did with him was the 1,000 Tears, which we'll be playing tomorrow, which is cool because we agreed that we wouldn't play it.
No.
And we're going to try it.
It's a cool song.
It's a sick
pretty cool
song.
song.
It's a sick song. I love it.
I've been trying to learn that solo, and it's not really
How's that
happening
going?
yet.
Yeah, dude, I don't really care. Me and James have this sick thing we're gonna do underneath it. That's really like just kind of ethereal and big. Like I'm so excited.
I mean, I can improvise over the changes, like no problem. But like for anybody watching this, like Dean Lamb played a solo on Carter's song. This was like several years ago, and we finally released it. And I mean, his solo is just masterful.
Yeah,
so good.
it's so insane.
Got like these major 7 arpeggios that are pretty wild, and there's tapping, and yeah, it's just an amazing solo. So check out the track if you want to hear Dean Lamb playing over one of our songs.
Yeah. The weird thing about that song was when we released it, I tried to do what everyone's doing now, where they'll release it with the band's name of who that person is, because there's a lot of like people don't know the names of vocalists, and so they'll say it's our song plus Distant or whatever. And then it'll be their name. But I tried that. I tried putting Proselyte and then Arcspire and then Dean Lamb underneath it, and it pulled up on their Spotify, and they got mad at me. They're like,
no.
Yeah,
it released as an Arcspire song, like a collab song, and that's why when you look at it, it's got like 20,000 views, which is about 5x more than anything else we have, because it was on their profile for like a week.
Dude, I wondered how that happened.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Hopefully we didn't piss him off.
I don't think so.
I
I got
so.
no, please no. Dean is so freaking nice, but he did send me an email that was like, "Can you fix this in DistroKid because it's showing up on our thing?"
Yeah.
And there's like record labels and stuff. I was like, "Yeah, I'll make sure that I don't."
Yeah, we want to be a respectful and we want to be a part of the scene. You know,
Yeah,
we want to
and
do
they were
it
super chill about it.
the
I was
correct
like, "Listen,
way."
I messed up. I was trying to make sure people knew who Dean Lamb was, not that he needs any help." And then when I put Arcspire on there, it just showed up on their profile on accident.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to navigate, like in the music world, like that. You just have a lot of the stuff you have to learn along the way, and then on top of that, if you want to be seen or heard, you got to innovate too. So
Yeah.
there's so many different things to like. The hardest thing for me lately with my projects is just getting 4 dudes to be in the same room together and practice.
On the same page, yeah. That's so hard.
That's tough, but I'm stoked that we've been able to like schedule practices like relatively well.
Yeah, that's a miracle
yeah.
in and of itself.
And getting a rehearsal space in Nashville too. I mean, there's always Diamond Sound, which you have to pay like $60 or $80
Yeah,
to rehearse. Having a place that you don't have to pay a bunch of
so
money,
nice.
you
it
know,
is so nice.
because we're not really making any money on the show, and then so we're basically just paying to be a part of this thing,
Right.
part of the scene for a little while, in hopes that it'll grow into something where we can make that fat metalcore money.
I'm looking
you
for
know
a
what I
fat
mean?
$20 bill. That's
Those
it, baby.
deathcore dollars.
Deathcore dollars, dude.
The album that we're working on with Josh, I think there's 4 tracks that he still needs to do, but I think we're good on like 2 of them.
Yeah, there's only 2 tracks left.
So there's 2 tracks left, and I'm so excited for people to hear track 8, because the riffs that I was doing in that thing, I don't know what I was on that day, but the riff is sick. I'll show it to you
You've
later.
heard that one, Mimas, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could play him a clip. I'll send it to you. It's so cool. Josh is gonna probably mix that one because he's already mixed the first 5 out of it, whatever, and that'll probably drop sometime in August. I'm
And
hoping.
that's a full length record
That's 8.
Yeah, I think it's 8
songs.
tracks total.
of all new stuff.
No.
Oh,
So Genesis of Despair, Forcing a Smile, Death Spiral, there's a track 4, and then Thousand Tears. We finished track 4 and track 6, and then track 7.
And then track 8.
Yeah, and then track 8.
awesome.
So track 7, I think the Collapsia, that one's done.
Yeah, 7's done. 4's done.
So just 6
And
and
it's
8.
just
This is what we call the waterfall release method, right? That's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my understanding
Absolutely.
of what that is. So
It's worked out so far.
Yeah, it
I mean,
hasn't
in
been
terms
bad.
of- the
I
reception's
like
pretty
when
good.
it's like, I thought we got a lot of good reception from the EP because they already knew all the other songs, and they're like, okay, I'm just getting like a rebranding of the same thing. I don't really need to like try and learn all this stuff. And then they got The Void Stares Back, which was the new one.
yeah,
It was-
I
it was
love
kinda
playing that song.
spoon-feeding.
It's so fun.
That song is so fun.
Song rules.
I just wanted to write a song that was like fun, because I talked to a lot of people about what it's like to play songs live, and I feel like different songs have a different great place to be heard. There's a lot of our songs that I'll listen to in the car, and I'm like, okay, it's a good driving metal song, but people don't know where the song's gonna go when you're live. And so I wanted a song that translated specifically to live audiences, which is why it's just a very easy song to listen to, and that's why I think it's like fun, and people love it. People love that
It's a
song.
lot of fun.
I've gotten a lot of good reception for that.
So Carter, how do you come up with your music, man? Like, what's your process of writing a song? What does that look like?
Typically, especially right now, he and I are writing riffs for like the next phase, basically, and it's going to be a lot darker and a lot grittier, very live audience oriented. And so I'll just come up with like what I actually like to come up with is like a clean thing, like just a clean ambience, and then I want to write something underneath that's just really heavy. And then typically I'll just go back and just delete the clean thing. Sometimes I'll post these kind of generic riffs that I write. I call them generic. Sometimes they take me hours to make, but I don't do anything with them. But I'll post them and get people's reactions off of Instagram or whatever, and if I get a lot of like they like it, I'll turn that into a song and I'll write a riff after it. And it's basically just riff after riff after riff. I think the biggest culprit of that kind of style was Forcing a Smile, because I don't think it does the same thing twice in the whole song.
We
changed it to do the intro again twice, and we just called it the chorus.
Yeah.
But that song is just a different riff over and over
it's
and over
definitely
again.
One of the more progressive songs that has some really demanding like shredding guitar on your part. I get to play the rhythm.
Yeah.
But
There's like a minute-long solo. I don't know what I was thinking. I just wanted to have fun.
This whole album is extremely demanding in comparison to the 3 that he wrote and then Void Stares Back.
Yeah.
It's a very different ballgame.
There's a ton of stuff coming where it's like, what am I going to do with that live?
Well, that's kind of the fun part about like making metal music and then playing it live. Like you create guitar riffs and guitar parts in this very controlled, like air-conditioned studio environment. You're very comfortable, right?
Exactly.
Everything sounds great, and then you can like cut with modern metal. It's a lot of like cut, copy, and paste, and moving things around. And I think Taylor called it the Frankenstein riff, where you like you record like little bits and pieces, and then you put it together, and it becomes this like, whoa, that's really intense, like or whatever. But then you have to go and play that stuff live. And I think drummers get it the worst, but for example, a band like Archspire, like the stuff that they're doing on the guitar, and they have to go out, you have to go out on the road and play that stuff in different venues, different temperatures,
Right,
if you feel like crap or you have to poop your pants or whatever, you got to get up there and play this stuff.
Get up there and play it.
Like night after night. So it's and I have one like memory of this when I was touring with As Hell Retreats, because I had to learn all of that music like within 10 days before going on tour. I mean, I had learned like 4 of the songs, but I didn't have the full set down. But like the first couple shows were a little rocky, but then over the course of like 30 days, you're playing the same songs. So by the end of it, it just becomes like, it's like child's play. It's like, I'm just going to like jump around a lot more at this show because we're having more fun, and I've got all the riffs down. So, or you might have an off night in there once in a while and you're like, oh man, I need to make sure I just like am on my game tonight, So I'm looking forward to doing that again at some point, traveling and,
I'm excited.
Playing these songs. So talk about whatever you're listening to. But what are you guys listening to these days?
I know exactly what he's listening to because he was in my shower this morning going, "Stay with me."
What is this Japanese like?
Japanese city pop, 80s city pop.
Yeah. City pop.
Yeah.
Like it's literally from the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's got that like Weather Channel vibe to it.
It's so chill.
So good.
I listen to a lot of like vaporwave and like retro wave type stuff for a while. I mean, some of that stuff is amazing. It's more about like taking like an old Weather Channel song and then slowing it down and doing different types of effects to the vocals, and it's amazing what those producers do. Like Nimesh and Telepath are 2 other really, if you like vaporwave, that's some stuff. My buddy Michael Stem got me into that stuff. But Carter, what are you listening to like in terms of heavy stuff these days?
Same 3 bands. He was roasting me for my my playlist this morning. I was like, let's see what's on Carter's metal mix. And I clicked it, and it was literally Viljarta, Humanity's Last Breath, Shrezzers was on there. I think Filth has been on there pretty consistently ever since we played with them. I love them. They're great.
So good. That album is so good.
And that was pretty much it. It just kind of became like a rotator of just the same things. But I love like the fall genre.
Yeah.
Just that weird glitchy metal stuff.
Well, yeah, it shows in the music that you write, man. Like you've got a lot of cool ambient stuff, ambient parts in your music, and then it gets super heavy, and we got breakdowns, we've got choppy, like affected parts and things like that, which is super fun. So Viljarta, Humanity's Last Breath, anybody else?
Black Tongue, Don't Let Them Lie to You.
Black Tongue. Yes, I listened to
what does Black Tongue sound like?
Oh, it's
like down tempo, beat down.
Yeah, real slow stuff. The one thing they do really well, because if you listen to like any part of what they're doing, it's kind of bland. It's kind of almost boring. But I feel like they've mastered sort of like the dreadfulness of like making a metal album with like an attitude. It's very, very like dirty, just evil sounding. and I love that. It's very artistic. You know, it's like deathcore can get so kind of like cookie cutter. Like here's what I sound like making a deathcore song, but they really made like an artistry of an album in that album and the one before that. I don't know what it's called, Plague Worship or something like that. It's so good. But it's real slow. You'd probably like it because it's got a lot of doom vibes and all that kind of like slowed down, lots of just shouting, real like reverb, like stuff feels like it's back here sometimes,
like
and
it's
over
in
there.
the room.
Yes, it's very much like that.
Cool.
Super cool.
Do you listen to Infant Annihilator?
I mean, I have before.
Same drummer.
But
Same
drummer. No kidding.
So the fastest stuff down to the slowest stuff. I mean, just
very
China every like 8 seconds.
Well, that guy's unbelievable. He's a prodigy. Have you watched the videos of him playing the Infant Annihilator songs on the electric kit?
Yeah.
Yes, it looks fake.
But it's real, dude.
I don't know if it was Decapitation, Fornication, or Cunt Crusher, but he did one on an acoustic, like normal kit, and it's got all the bloopers at the end too, and like he's playing it. He's definitely playing it.
Nice,
but it's hard to believe.
Unbelievable, for sure.
I've been listening to Psycho Frame lately.
Yeah,
you guys check them out.
Pretty big.
We were gonna play a show with them. It didn't end up working out.
Yeah, it was gonna be a Dark Matter, and I think that they just started the tour a day later, something like that, and it just fell through.
Well, I saw them open for Dying Fetus. Like they had jumped on that tour. Man, they were probably my favorite band that I saw that night, other than live shows Dying Fetus. But yeah, they have 2 vocalists. They both sound different. They have like different verses that they do on their own, but then they do stuff together. Yeah, and it's shocking what these guys are doing. And then their guitar players look like more traditional metal players, but they're playing like it's basically deathcore. Yeah. But it's maybe a little bit more metallic sounding in the sense that there's more shreddy kind of guitar stuff. But dude, the vocals are unbelievable in that band.
I don't think I've ever listened to
that's
them.
The shirt I picked up, this sick camo shirt. It says we are not the same.
That's sick.
It's like
the shirt.
There we go. That's
it's
hard.
Like
that's hard.
This is like a Real Tree certified like camo shirt. I wonder if they bought them from like freaking Bass Pro or something, and then like had
just reprinted stuff right on top of it. Dude, it looks
possible
clean.
They did
it's
that.
Nice.
These were the last. Taylor and I got the last 2 XLs.
Nice.
And then they were sold out. Yeah.
That reminds me of when we went to Atlanta to see Angel Maker.
Oh yeah.
They've got 2 vocalists.
That band's sick.
That band is
insane.
Good, dude. They're so
their drummer just is just a robot.
They've got like 7 people in that band.
The band's huge.
3 guitars.
Psycho Frame's drummer was like that too. Yeah. He was very like just in the zone, like non-reactive, just just very tight, but like their drum parts are so insane that it's like I don't know how else you would execute them,
right? Without being just perfectly tight.
Yeah, tell me more about Angel Maker though.
They're I had never seen them live before. This was 2022.
Yeah, 2022. I got COVID at that show.
Yeah.
It was so sick.
That was
fun.
Amazing.
So awesome. Yeah, it was Angel Maker, Paleface, which you need to listen to them.
Yeah, you need to try them out.
Listen to them.
Distant
played. Was Body Snatcher on that show?
Body Snatcher, they co-headlined it.
Yeah.
I think they ended the night.
Stacked.
I haven't checked any of those bands out yet.
Really?
So,
oh man, you got some homework.
Silly.
Body Snatcher is for people who write with their fist. It's so nice.
They write their lyrics
so
like
good.
this.
Yes. That's angry music.
You know what band I saw a couple weeks ago that truly blew my mind was The Last 10 Seconds of Life.
They're so good. That's a scary man on vocals.
Dude, that guy was terrifying. Their drummer too, like playing doubles.
Yeah.
And very, very fast, like double bass stuff. The execution is what does it for me, is just how at ease a drummer can be like playing such intense stuff. I just appreciate the heck out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that band was insane, and their bass player sounded like Fieldy from Korn. Like he had this like really
just that
crunchy
really like
tone,
high pitched sharp thing at the end of his chain.
Yeah, he was awesome.
That's awesome.
So,
Last 10 is really good.
I've never listened to them.
I listen to their old stuff a lot.
They show up a lot on my playlist, and I'm just like, I want to listen to the same 3 bands.
Viljarta it is.
Yeah, no, literally.
Viljarta for the 5th time today. Yeah.
We were in the car. I played. I was like, "Oh, he's got the Chelsea Grin self-titled EP. That's one of my favorites." So I was like listening to the songs off. Then he's like, "No, move, Viljarta," and went straight to Mastodon.
I was like, "Oh, can I pick one?" And he was like, "Sure." And as I'm scrolling, he's like, "How did I know?" He knew the path it was gonna take to get there. Like I was like, "Whatever, I can't win."
That band's crazy, man. Yeah, Buster plays drums in that band. Buster old. How do you say his last name?
Odahome, I think.
Buster
Oldhome, something like that.
Oldheim. I always say it wrong, dude.
Dimmadome.
We are not Swedes or no, he's not Swedish either, is he?
Yeah, he is.
He's
they're
okay.
I
Swedish,
think they're all
yeah.
from there, yeah.
Yeah, we're not from the great north.
No.
The Swedes got some good bands lately.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real.
Well, who else do you guys like from
Paleface
Sweden?
is Swedish.
Paleface. Okay.
Swiss, yeah. Is that Swedish or is that Switzerland? Am I stupid?
Switzerland.
Oh, I'm
It's
stupid.
anything. We're American, so anything
it's all
over
the same
there,
thing.
it's like, who cares? It's all the same.
Who cares?
Who cares?
We're Americans. We're better than you.
Yeah. I don't have time. It's hard enough seeing people put like Texas. I was just about to go there. Like Kublai Khan had to put TX on their thing because there's like probably another Kublai Khan out there. So
It was the same thing with Paleface. They have Paleface Swiss now because
Yeah.
there's another Paleface.
Oh.
You know, there's another Proselyte too.
oh yeah. There is another Proselyte.
Like active band?
It's hard to tell because on like Metal Archives it says they're active, but I ain't seen nothing since 2014.
In about a month, it's
So-
going to be hard to tell if we're active. You know, it is what it is.
Well-
I'm just playing.
We're playing shows.
Stuff's happening.
We're
Stuff's
not-
happening.
I think if we played more than we're playing now, it would be a bad move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
It'd
think
just be
so
too
as
much.
well.
Yeah,
I think
just get
so.
burnt out.
And that's what I was telling him too. You gotta like spread it out. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Oops.
sorry.
There
You
goes
gotta
his
like. It's fine. You gotta spread it out because like nobody's gonna come see you twice in a week. You know.
No,
it's-
and we ran into that problem when we were in our band in Charleston.
Yeah,
because we played like
every
weekly,
weekend. Yeah.
and it was like less and less people were coming for us because they knew what the set was going to be, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
There was
don't
a huge burnout.
I don't think you can play this kind of music weekly. I mean, you can if you're touring.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
But
yeah. The same town, the same venue. It was
Yeah.
like,
Do it. Yeah.
I think my thing is like twice a month max.
Yeah.
You know, which like Divisive is gonna play again tomorrow, and they played at they opened for Oceano, and Divisive is a pretty sick like deathcore band
Yeah, they're
from
pretty good.
from
Pretty
Nashville. So
Yeah.
yeah, what other local bands do you guys like?
Divisive is probably like right there at the top. Destination right there with them. Destination is them boys. Love them.
We
They're
love
really
them.
sweet.
Yeah, we love
Yeah.
you guys. You guys rule.
Taylor's a good man.
Divisive, I had been listening to them since like 2017 or something like that.
Wow.
I still remember my job when I lived in Charleston, and they had a song called Baal, like the god from the Bible, Baal. And like from then I was hooked, and I followed them up until their first album, then kind of fell off and came back on track. But
I'm trying to get those guys on the show
they're super
in the
sweet.
next couple weeks. So I think their drummer lives in Clarksville. So he's Thomas Rodriguez, I think is his
So,
name.
yeah.
He lives like right down the road from me. So
There's Autumn Lies Buried. They're
Yeah,
kind of
they're
like
pretty
the
solid.
homies
Yeah,
too.
they're really
pretty
solid.
sick.
their guitar player lives in Clarksville too.
Yes,
Kane Potter.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good man.
That dude's been helping
just-
me out. He's been helping me like find the venues to play at. Like,
yeah, he's a big Proselyte
Yeah.
supporter.
Oh,
rock
that's
with him.
cool,
Proselyte.
man. Yeah, I
Super
gotta
excited
link
for you,
up with
Kane.
that dude.
yeah, I'm dying
Yeah.
for you, Kane.
I'll die.
For sure, dude.
I'm
It is an honor to die before you, Mr. Potter.
Mr. Potter.
So, well, cool.
I liked Hard Reset. I thought they were really cool.
Yeah, I
know.
had unfortunately never heard of Hard Reset until.
Oh,
the
I
show.
loved them.
They're
Yeah.
sick.
People went nuts for them.
Yeah, I'm not
Like,
a big like hardcore like listening to it, you know, but live shows it's a whole different.
Oh, I
ball.
loved
yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
unreal. That stuff is made to be played live.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's good to listen.
Their drummer
to.
really impressed me, man. I forgot what that dude's name is, but I did follow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the whole band. You know, their guitar player recently became an electrician.
Talking about
you
the
know?
mustache with the
Yeah.
long hair, dude. He was going insane.
Yeah, he was sick.
Yeah.
That's a good-
I just enjoyed the heck out of that
Yeah, they were
that
so
set.
good.
And everybody else that was at Dark Matter was having a ball watching them play.
Yeah.
watching them.
Well, let me ask you guys this, like, because there might be some younger folks watching this video. What advice would you give to a young person that wants to play in a metal band? Like, what would you tell them to do? What are some things?
Don't say don't.
I wasn't gonna say that. I was just thinking, like, I mean, I have really bad anxiety, and at the end of the day, like, I don't practice at home because I don't want to make noise, and I don't practice in the car because like people are gonna look at me.
So
like,
not
don't
practicing is your advice?
care. No, you just don't care. You know, just do what you need to do. You're not gonna get better if you don't.
Yeah.
You know, if you stick to it. I mean, it took me like, probably like 8 years all through Down Under. Like looking back and listening, like I was not where I thought I was. You know, and I'm a little bit further along now, but like you could be so much further with practice. So it's just going to be looking back and thinking you could always do better, but you're not doing anything about it. So do something about it, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
My advice would be to like kill the ego every time you see it coming up. If you think you're good, anybody can pick somebody to show that this person is better than you. So just like, you know, take a deep breath, realize that you're not perfect, and just keep grinding out, practicing. I'm always at my computer, like learning a new riff, or God forbid I have to practice my own music and I realize that I can't play my own stuff perfectly. Then it's a real reality check. But yeah, anytime you feel like you're getting like, cocky, just kill it as quickly as possible, because you don't want to be the guy in the scene that just thinks that you're better than everybody else, and then you get up there and like imagine you suck for one reason or another, and people know that you think that you're better than everybody else. It's just a bad look.
Stay humble.
So
that's a big one.
Stay humble.
Everybody
please.
works together. You work together constantly.
Everybody's homies. It's
you
like
have to be.
Just keep it sweet.
I think that's great advice. I mean, for me, I would say just practice your instrument and work on the craft for as long as you can while you're young. And then form a band.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a couple bands that have gotten away with forming a band like Hammerhead. They killed it at like 11, you know, and they were great. But that does not happen every time. So it's like as soon as you feel like picking up an instrument, pick it up and just keep going and keep going. And when the band comes, you know, you'll be ready.
Yeah.
Don't rush in.
And one thing I've noticed is that to get any kind of notoriety doing this kind of music, it seems like it's a 10-year journey for a band.
I've noticed that too. It's about 10 years minimum.
Traders, I see your shirt. It says established 2013. They've been in the game for a long time.
We played with them back at Corey's in probably 2015, 2016, something like that. And then we played again with them at Ground Zero in 2017, and the crowds just got bigger. Same thing with Body Snatcher. They played at a grilled cheese shop in Charleston. That was our local venue. It was like maybe a 50-person cap. Cram 150 people in there.
Human-sized holes in the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that.
And just now they're headlining tours all over the world. Like even if it doesn't work out in 10 years, 20 years from now, somebody's gonna find your album.
Yeah, look at Lorna Shore.
Yeah,
they're
doing
it's another 10-year plus
exact
band.
Same thing.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
It's finally
just
working.
Enormous.
I definitely think there's outliers to that in the sense that like some bands can form quickly and.
That's just clout,
and that can happen really fast. I think maybe Sleep Token could be an example of that. They've exploded over the course of like 5 years,
2017 or something like that. Not very
6 years. I'm sure they've been in other bands and been in the scene for a long time prior to that.
Yeah,
of course they got to have those connections.
Being patient and being consistent, practicing your instrument, always writing, always learning other people's content, whether you're a vocalist or a guitar player or a drummer, and just challenging yourself. And I would say just writing music about the stuff that you care about and just learning to tell your story in the form of music, I think is like the most important thing. And just being honest with who you are and realizing that it's not really worth comparing yourself to anybody else. You just have to be you and make the music and tell your story with your music.
It's your music. You have to tell your story. No one's going to tell it. No one's going to listen unless you.
What do you guys think like the purpose is of metal music and deathcore? You know, like there's a whole generation of people out there that don't understand this kind of music.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's okay. And obviously like people gravitate towards the sounds that they most enjoy listening to. Like what do you think the point is of heavy music?
So when I was young, like probably 11 or 12, when I was listening to it, like you said, people don't understand it. I didn't feel understood, you know, but you find a group of people who look like you, people who talk like you, have the same experiences, but they get you. You know what I'm saying? And you have those outside of that too. Like Carter's a very normal person comparatively to me, but he understands.
Right.
You know, he gets it.
The first mosh pit I got into was last year at 27 years old. I was never.
But at 15, I was wailing on him. Yeah. I was beating him up at the corner of the pit. Yeah.
I would sit like in the circle, you know, around the pit, and he would just kind of love tap everybody. I mean, he would swing, but if he saw somebody he knew, and you know, it's kind of like a consent kind of thing, or not. I mean, he'll just walk up to me and just punch me, and I won't see it coming. But
that was it.
That's our love language.
I think.
Now I'm in the pit, so we'll just beat on each other.
Yeah, there you go.
I think it's like it's an outlet, especially for people who don't know how to play an instrument or something like that. They can still connect to metal. in the sense where it's like he said, these are people that look like me, talk like me, and it seems like they get where I'm coming from with these feelings and these emotions. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to go down this funnel of where these people are going. What are they doing? You know, and that's kind of how you get plugged in.
So what would you say like deathcore music is? What is it? Like, how would you describe it to somebody who like what is this word deathcore? Like
death metal and hardcore.
Yeah.
The elements, the riffs from the death metal, but the breakdown and the grooviness from the hardcore. I mean, it's moved away from that.
So what is hardcore?
Slayer? No, I'm kidding.
No.
Where did hardcore start? I have no idea. Probably around the late 80s.
Yeah, stuff.
But
hardcore is hardcore punk from
yes.
There was an era, I think it was New York City, but also in other places, LA and all around the US, and then in other parts of the world as well. Hardcore punk, I think it's like 81 to 84.
Wow.
Was like, Minor Threat, Black Flag, Bad Brains, like that's the original hardcore punk scene, and then that eventually just got heavier over time. Probably in like the early 90s, mid 90s, people started to blend that with death metal.
Yeah.
Which death metal had been around probably since like mid 80s, maybe early 80s, I would say. And it formed around the same time as black metal, but it became really popular with the Florida death metal scene of the early 90s with more sound studios. And then those styles just kind of amalgamated in a way where you could make people groove and move around more when you're playing death metal,
Yeah.
Would you add anything else to that in terms of like what is deathcore?
Not really. I feel like deathcore has come a long way in a good way. There's a lot more inclusion by default. I feel like it's way more accepted than it used to be. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos because I wasn't into deathcore in 2007. There's the exclusion of being into metal, which has already separated you from being normal a little bit. But to do deathcore was like a whole step further. Like the metal people didn't even like deathcore kids. And so to see that deathcore has kind of like more or less risen to the top, because you've got Knocked Loose, who's kind of there, and Lorna Shore, that is just deathcore, doing like world tours and stuff like that, like
Slaughter
full
to
US,
Prevail as well.
Big one, yes. All that kind of stuff. It's nice to see how far it's coming. It's very inclusive now, which is cool.
It's very different, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
I was around for the MySpace era deathcore, and that's what Down Under was. We were just MySpace deathcore. So I mean, we still do the same things. That's what Void Stares Back is. It's basically
it's basically just MySpace deathcore.
But I mean, comparatively now, like if you just go listen to anything off of like X the Yan's YouTube channel, like those are all so wildly different MySpace deathcore, but it all falls under the same thing. Whereas Lorna Shore, Paleface, and like I don't know what's another deathcore band, like Chelsea Grin. Those are very different sounds, but it's all the same genre.
Yeah, I would say it's like very cathartic stuff to listen to. It's very primal in the sense that like you go through society and you walk around and you're supposed to be a certain way. Like society has these expectations, and I think most of those things are probably good. Yeah. Some of them just make your brain rot. Yeah. So going to like a metal show and you can sort of have a football-like experience, and for the most part, people respect each other in the mosh pit, and if someone falls down, like someone will usually pick you up. And I mean, I've seen videos on social media recently with like grandmas with walkers in like the pit. I'm not kidding.
Yes.
Like someone brought their grandma to like a metal show.
They put bleed to it. I've seen that. There's like a lady with a little walker and she's like pushing people off with it.
In Charleston, I saw Filth like a week before we played. There was a guy in a wheelchair in the pit. Like just pushing everybody, and then we picked them up. Like everyone's invited, everyone.
Well, that's
no one's left out.
One of the things I love the most about metal is that it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter where you're from, if you are about the metal, if you love the music and you connect with it, like you're a part of it. It doesn't matter if you're a business bro or a Chipotle Chad, like, or if you're like a trans person or whatever. Like if you like the music, you can enjoy it. I think most music is like that in a way, but I don't. There's something special about the bond that we have with other metal musicians and other metal fans. It just seems to be less judgmental and less flexible.
Less flexible.
And this is coming from somebody who's been to like stadium concerts. I've seen the biggest bands ever. I recently saw Billy Strings. That has a different vibe, very accepting fan base as well, but it was a different thing because there's more normal people there, you know?
Right. And I don't feel very included when I'm at like a 12,000, 15,000 cap venue.
Yeah.
And it's all these people listening to well, I don't want to name drop, but like SZA or something like that. Like I'll go see these R&B artists. It's just like we're all kind of here and we're all here for the artist, but we're here like by ourselves. And maybe it's because I'm not a 16-year-old girl. Maybe I just don't get what they get. But when you're at like a metal show, it's very tight. It's like you're here, I'm here. You know, I know what this is about. If you don't know what this is about, you'll find out soon.
It's just easy to talk
inclusive.
to people, I feel like, for the most part.
There's like 100 people here, 200 people maybe.
Well, let's wrap this up, guys. So what is on the horizon for Proselyte?
We're finishing up the album. The album's called An All New Kind of Hell. The last songs on it are really, really close to my heart because I had a lot of traumatic events in the past like year or two that they're all being written about, which is great. I think that album's going to be very cool, and I'm really excited about that one dropping. From there, we're going into basically what we've called his EP or his album titled Umbra. And it's going to be, we're still like discussing how it's going to sound, but basically, like I said, more grit, more evil sounding, way more live audience oriented type stuff, real dark. Right now we're doing a lot of riffs. We'll probably be doing a lot of chugging for that stuff. But
so more beatdown, deathcore.
Yeah,
that's
no wrinkles. You know?
Smooth brain only.
Smooth brain only. Yeah.
Thank you, Taylor. I stole that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
No wrinkles. I love that.
That was a banger, dude.
That was so good.
It's funny.
But yeah, that's what's coming. After that, we'll see.
So what about shows? Any upcoming shows that we have booked?
There's one in the works right now in September with a couple of our boys from Hollow God. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
That's going to be sick. Those dudes from Augusta, I think. Yeah. That's going to be sick. I haven't seen those dudes in forever.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
If anybody's watching this and you want to link up and do a show together, we're here. We're around.
Yeah, please.
So I think
sick.
July is probably spoken for. But yeah, maybe something in July. Definitely something in August.
Like the fall.
Yeah, but
like that stuff is going to be wide
anywhere
open.
From Florida to probably Michigan, I think anyone here would be fine with.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So.
Sweet. Well, thanks for hanging out, guys.
Thanks for having
me.
Awesome.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.